Welcome back to the Mayorverse, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Mayor Reynolds, aka Midnight Mayor, here, coming at you with another video. Today, we're talking about Overwatch 2. It was a highly controversial week for Overwatch and Blizzard, as Blizzard announced that much of the Overwatch 2 PvE content that was previously announced has been canceled. Now, I'm going to give you a very hot take, but there's a bunch of things that I want to clarify here. And the Director of Overwatch 2 has also responded today with a very long, transparent, heartfelt letter that I want to share with you guys, which really reinforces a lot of my thoughts as to why this decision would happen. But again, my hot take is that this was never a good idea to begin with, that Blizzard never should have committed to this and never should have announced it. Now, with that said, I want to clarify something that the director of the game also clarified in his letter today. PvE content is still coming to Overwatch 2. There are story missions that are going to be released with each season, telling stories to be played through in PvE, no PvP involved, coming to Overwatch 2. Still, not all PvE content has been canceled. That's important to note. The director of the game spoke in his letter about what these are. These are story missions to be played, PvE content that will tell a story. What was canceled was called the Hero Mode. This was gonna be like replayable PvE content. Think like Gears of War Horde mode, stuff like that. PvE content with replayability. Kind of, you know, a lot of us are probably thinking like akin to an expanded Junkenstein's Revenge kind of thing, right? That is what was canceled. There was associated talent trees and all sorts of stuff like that. That is what has been canceled. Not all PvE content has been canceled. But again, I want to get into why this was always a bad idea from the get-go, and I actually think that this is an unfortunate transpiration of events, but I actually think this could be good for Overwatch 2 in the long run, as much as people probably don't want to hear that. So there's a lot of good things to be taken from the director of Overwatch 2, the new director, I should say, since Jeff Kaplan is no longer involved. He talks a lot about why the decision was made to cancel quote-unquote hero mode, you know, PvE hero mode in Overwatch 2. And he really said everything that I've been talking about on stream, on Twitch, and on Twitter since this announcement was made. He talks about the plans, what the plans were, what's actually still coming, the story missions and so on that's still coming, that PvE content is still coming, and the hero mode and so on. And he constantly talks about how they just could not make hero mode work. It was a vision that they had. It was something they were committed to. They've been committed to it for years. And they said no matter what they did, they could just not make it come together. They didn't flat out say it wasn't fun. When you think about this, guys, this makes total sense to me. I mean, Overwatch at its core is a competitive game. It is an esport, right? And it has an amazing universe with amazing characters, and we're gonna see more stories told in that universe. It's confirmed in this letter through both the PvE story missions coming to Overwatch, and then he also says in other content outside of the game. And I've said this for a long time, the best way for them to expand the Overwatch universe, in my opinion, is to do things like comics, do things like novels, and do an animated series. There's huge potential for that. Look at Arcane with League of Legends. Like, yes, we want more story in game, and that's good. That's what's coming with the story missions, but there's huge potential to expand beyond that, which is really what I think most Overwatch players are interested in. It's not so much the actual PvE content that's super exciting. It's more like the story aspect. Most, not everybody. Obviously, there are super casual players who don't enjoy PvP in any game, but to me, that just means that Overwatch is not your game, you know. And I would say that to a lot of people. That's like saying I want to play Counter-Strike, but I don't want a PvP. Like that is what this game is, and whether people want to admit it or not, Overwatch is a competitive game. It is a multiplayer game. It is a 5v5 competitive game, and you know the director says it right in this letter that was posted today, which is very well written, very heartfelt, and very transparent. He said that flat out, we were taking a ton of resources and development time away from the main game, away from the live game that is Overwatch 2, and putting it into the PvE content that just wasn't working. So if you've ever criticized Overwatch for not having, or Overwatch 2, or both, for not having as robust a live service as you would like, not enough content, not enough updates, not enough attention to this or that. It's because of this. It's because instead of focusing on the core of the game that we are all playing and enjoying, or trying to enjoy, depending on where you fall, they weren't able to do that fast enough. And I've said this for time and time again, guys. So many games and franchises are getting stuck trying to do too much. Like, look at Battlefield 2042. They tried to do, 64 player modes, 128 player modes. They tried to do Hazard Zone. They tried to do Portal. And at least 3 out of 4 of those things at launch were bad. Imagine if they just focused on 1 or 2 of those things instead. Like, game development is very hard. And the more you spread yourself thin, the less quality you're going to get in everything that they try to do. So in the long run, as hard as this is, and I get it that, canceling things is hard, this happens to all games. The big problem here to me was that they never should have announced this PvE, this hero mode thing, and they never should have committed to it. Like, the writing was kind of on the wall from the get-go, and I'm sorry to say this, that this was not going to be great. I mean, the PvE content that we've got in Overwatch is like, it's decent, right? But it's never been like a home run. Like, Junkenstein's Revenge is not amazing. Last year's Halloween event, what was it called? The Bride of Junkenstein. I mean, it's okay, right? But it's not like incredible. And I don't know what people were expecting from this Overwatch PvE content. Were they all of a sudden expecting it to be like the next big thing? Like, it was going to be the greatest thing ever? I don't know why people really thought that. But what we do have that is great is the core of Overwatch 2, which is where the team's attention should be. Like, that is what the development team should be focused on. I hate to say it. And if you're somebody who was looking forward to Overwatch 2's PvE content, again, they apologize. I mean, the director apologizes straight up in this, and explains everything. But to me, this was never a good idea. This was never a good investment. And it's sad that for years, all this development time and resources and money was really, in the long run, squandered. But this happens in games. There's a lot of stuff that you try to make work, and it just doesn't work. And the director of the game says as much in this open letter, talking about how Overwatch started as an MMO when it was called Project Titan, and they've been through so many different trials and errors, and this is really, it's just the next iteration and evolution of that. And I'm actually glad that they're looking this in the face now and saying, this doesn't work, we need to reprioritize, and we need to prioritize Overwatch 2's core game instead of spending more time on this PvE, which we just cannot make work. We cannot ship this. It's not good enough, and it's not worth our time. I mean, just think about how much more Overwatch 2 content we would have right now if for the past several years the team wasn't spending time on all this PvE stuff. Like, Overwatch 2 already has quite a bit of content, in my opinion. There's tons of maps. There's tons of different ways to play the game. There's tons of heroes, right? But imagine how much more we would have if they didn't spend all these years trying to force something that was never going to work. It was never going to be a hit. Like, you might have thought that I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it. It's going to be amazing. But the team is here telling you, guys, it wasn't amazing. Like we can't make this work. It's not good enough for us to ship. And that's hard to admit, but they admit it in this letter. And I'm glad they communicated this. More communication is always good. And Blizzard has been doing a better job with this overall, especially like on the WoW side and the Diablo side. Hopefully this is a turning point for Overwatch communication as well. So that's really it for this video, guys. I just wanted to get this out, discuss what the director of Overwatch had to say, and give my opinion as well. I mean, I basically predicted all of this, just what he says when this announcement was made. And I know it was a hot take to say it, that I never thought it was a good idea to begin with. I'm glad that they're moving past it. I know a lot of people don't feel that way, but let me know how you feel down in the comments below. And that's it for this video. If you've been wondering where the videos on this channel, because I haven't put one up in a couple weeks, I'm heavily focused on Dead Drop in my Midnight Mare channel right now. On YouTube, that's the name of the channel, Midnight Mare. That channel is dedicated exclusively to Dead Drop, Dr. Disrespect's game, the game from Midnight Society. A lot of talent on that team. Please come sub over there. We're making really great quality content, probably some of my best content that I've ever made over on the Midnight Mare channel. So please come support us over there. With that said, we'll see you in the next video on whatever channel that we're on. And you can come find me on Twitch as well. Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, we're live by 7 p.m. Eastern at the latest. Mayor Reynolds, out. This video is sponsored by G Fuel. Use code MAYOR at any time to get 20% off your order at G Fuel on gfuel.com or the G Fuel app. Just go to the website, select one of their many, many, many amazing flavors in both tubs, cans, G Fuel Hydration, whatever G Fuel products you want. Use code MAYOR at checkout to get 20% off. I guarantee you, you're gonna feel hyped when you drink G Fuel. Come watch my streams if you need any more evidence of that. Get some G Fuel today. Use code MAYOR for 20% off. And thanks to G Fuel for sponsoring all of our content.